If those businesses are thriving, that means our communities are thriving. A thriving community means a thriving city. And so,
Welcome to the Talk Chamber, a production of the Greater Memphis Chamber. The Talk Chamber is the podcast for the latest on the Chamber, economic development, and all things Memphis. Today's episode features the one and only Patricia McKinney, our Director of Small Business and Member Programming here at the Greater Memphis Chamber. Patricia, thank you so much for coming on.
well, Taylor Ann, thank you so much for asking.
Now, if you're a longtime listener of the show, you are at the very least familiar with Miss Patricia. She, every time somebody comes on here to talk anything remotely related to member events, member programming, small business, Patricia always gets brought up. So I am thrilled to have you on so that the audience can finally see and hear from the Patricia McKinney.
Yes.
So let's just jump in. How long have you been working at the chamber and how did you get started here?
So I've been here 9 years. It will be 10 years in August. I can't believe
Wow.
time is just going by fast. So I started at the chamber. Actually, I was introduced to the chamber as an ambassador. So I was working for a company and I saw these amazing people that made people feel welcome every event that I went to. And I thought, let me find out more about those people. And so finally, my boss said, yes, you can be an ambassador. So joined the ambassador team, and eventually a position came open in member engagement. And then now I am working with small businesses. Throughout my career, small business has been at the core, really serving them. So it's heaven to me.
What is it that you love about small business and working in that field?
So at the beginning, I was in sales, and so I understood the challenges behind what it took to build a business. And so as I was working with some of the business owners, they needed help with everything. So they needed me to write copy. They needed me to just really frame some of the advertising vehicles that they were using. And so through all of those conversations that I had with them, they had sleepless nights, they had challenges, and I am one who has a heart of serving. And so serving in that way just makes my day. But it also keeps me up at night because what concerns them concerns me.
Patricia, that's one of the things I love about you is your heart for other people and passion for the people that you know and you work with, and just your desire to help them. And I think that's one of the reasons that every time somebody comes on this podcast and your name gets brought up, they're like, oh, Patricia. Miss Patricia McKinney, she's the best.
Oh, well,
So-
yeah, I'm honored.
Of course,
Yes.
we love having you, and I know our small businesses are just so thankful for you and for your help, because Patricia, for those who haven't worked with Patricia, truly will be there for whatever you need. She is happy to help. And on that note, Small Business Week is coming up in May. That is very soon. We are gearing up for that. What is Small Business Week and why does it matter, especially to the local people?
Sure, I am so super excited about what we're going to be planning for that week. But Small Business Week launched in 1963 thanks to President John F. Kennedy. And the whole purpose was to make sure that everyone knew that small businesses really drive the economy. They make sacrifices. They contribute to the bottom line of the economy, as I mentioned. And they are the bedrock of the finances, and they still are today. And so when I was looking at just the scope of small businesses, even nationally, 2 out of 3 jobs are created by a small business. I
Wow.
mean, that's pretty impactful. So when you look at even the Memphis area, there are over 98% of the businesses that are here are small businesses.
Mm-hmm.
So that's enough to make you think about, wow, there's something big about small businesses. And so I even think about when you're driving down the street and you're seeing communities, and those communities have services and products that are serving those individuals. Well, when those individuals are actually buying from those companies, those dollars are staying in the community. So it's incumbent upon us to encourage small businesses to keep going. If those businesses are thriving, that means our communities are thriving. A thriving community means a thriving city. And so I wish that small business year could happen 365 days, but I am excited that we get to honor those business owners that have nurtured these ideas and now they're taking care of their families and impacting our city.
It's awesome to see small businesses that are thriving and growing because it starts as an idea or a dream, just something that you had, and then you take the first step, and then you take 10 more steps, and now all of a sudden you've got this flourishing business that's, you know, a cornerstone of the community, of your community, and it's just a beautiful and exciting picture, especially in our city, just seeing because we have so many small businesses.
Right, and they have nurtured this baby from infancy to maturity, and there's a space in between that, right? And so that's where we come in to help serve.
I'd also like to bring up 90% of our membership is small businesses.
Absolutely.
And so, Patricia, your role is so important, but I know the whole team loves to support our small businesses, whether that's just in their personal life going and, you know, shopping locally or when it's ribbon cuttings and celebrations and, you know, helping them in whatever way that we can and we're able to. So small businesses really do matter. And I kind of, I like your idea of small business year because they truly do make such a large impact, even though they're considered small.
Absolutely. And even when you think about the larger companies that have been attracted here, small businesses support those big companies. So you think about any of the manufacturing firms, FedEx, St. Jude. Can you think about what those employees need? They need restaurants. They need doctors' offices. They need spas for relaxation. All of those services help those employees. So when people think about the chamber, we want them to know about the importance of all business, and small businesses is a part of that core.
Mm-hmm. So Small Business Week, we've got some programming planned. We've got some things going on. Could you tell us about that? What's going on?
Sure. So we're stoked about it. So our Small Business Council Steering Committee, which I have the pleasure of working alongside, and we meet every month talking about the ever-changing needs of small businesses and how we can best serve them. But those committee members are going to be attending or actually visiting some of those individuals that want them to stop by. And there's a form that they can fill out. So if you're a small business, you can complete this form that was in the forward, and we hope that everyone is reading the forward. And then the steering committee will stop by, connect with them, and then take a photo with them. What this will do is allow that small business to gain some exposure on social media. So we'll tag them, and then they can share that out with their contacts. But also, it will allow those small businesses to get to know our steering committee a little bit better as well. So we are excited about that synergy that will happen between the two of them. That one-on-one connection for our small businesses will be excited. And actually, we had an event yesterday, and someone said, I filled out my form. So I said, okay. And she was the first one. So we're excited to see what this is going to do for their hearts, to know that they're seen, but also to give them that exposure, because as a small business, you want to get as many eyes on your brand as possible. So this is a small step in that direction.
And not to mention, being a small business owner, being the person in charge, that's a hard job. You're wearing many hats.
Yeah.
Many days of the week.
Mm-hmm.
There's not really a Saturday or a Sunday where you get the weekend, you get a break for small business owners. And so having somebody, who's been there, done that, knows exactly what's going on, coming alongside you and just cheering you on, but also just having somebody to lift your spirits and just to hang out and maybe even give you advice. It really does make a difference. So
yeah, I like to call myself the spurrer. I like spurring our businesses on. They do tremendous work. So again, excited about that opportunity. But then coming up on May 7th, we have something called our masterclass, and we've been doing this. This is our third year, but for this particular year, we're going to do something called Built to Last. Every small business is building. They don't build to fail, but they build to last. And so Duncan Williams, our very own chairman of the board, will be facilitating that. So he's going to be moderating, asking really great questions. But we have a star-studded lineup. So you want me to tell you who's on that panel?
Please.
Okay. So Dottie Summerfield Justy is our past co-chair, but she also still resides. She resides on the steering committee, and she has over 40 years of experience as a coach, a builder. We call her coach because when we come to Dottie, we know that we can find the answer because she has a wealth of knowledge to pull from. And so we also have Dana Pointer, who has shifted into the lead of such a phenomenal business called Preserver Partners. And she is all over the city. Every time I look up, she's on a panel. She's a phenomenal leader, phenomenal speaker, and she knows her finances. So
She does.
she's a person that individuals will be able to glean from. And then we have Sly Tate. His father has built a phenomenal business in Tate Computer Systems, and Sly is just an innovative thinker. And so he's going to be taking the business to the next level. So looking at the diversity of that panel, our attendees will be able to glean wisdom and take it back to their businesses. And that's what we really want to see happen. Every time we have an event or a meeting, master class, whatever we have, we want there to be nuggets that they can take back to their team and apply those nuggets.
So what's the action item here? How can our small business owners who are listening to this get to these events and get involved?
First, if you're a small business and you have less than 500 employees, and we are in alignment with the SBA, so the Small Business Administration, if you have less than 500 employees, you are part of the Small Business Council. But we want to make it official. So reach out to me, just email pmckinney@memphischamber.com, and what we will do is send you the small business logo so that you can use it in your emails, on your website, or what have you. And then you can also receive our newsletter. We have a newsletter that comes out at the end of every month that will keep you plugged in to everything that we're doing, whether it's an overview of what we've done in the past month, what initiatives we're working on now, and then looking forward. We have an acronym with the Small Business Council. It is ACE. We want to advocate, communicate, and educate.
Advocate, communicate, educate.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of feel like might be a good segue into our next question.
Okay.
What are some of the biggest challenges you're seeing and hearing from our Small Business Council and small business members?
So a couple of things that come to mind. One, every time I talk to someone, everybody needs funding, right? Access to capital, that's a challenge. But one thing that is coming up pretty regularly is the lack of time that people have to attend events and then knowing what to do when they meet people. So they want to know how to strategically connect. Because as you mentioned earlier, small businesses they wear a lot of hats. Mm-hmm. They have a lot on their plate. So when they show up at an event, they want to know, okay, what do I do? How do I maximize this opportunity? Because we all know that we build businesses based on relationships. It's not a one and done. So you meet someone today, that's a person that you're cultivating a relationship with. And so those are the two things that have been coming up actually in the past month or so in my conversations with our members.
Are there any encouraging trends or wins that you've been seeing from small business community?
So we have one trend that continues to come up, and that is, how do I use these AI tools? Because as a business owner, they're trying to streamline their processes. They want to streamline even their bottom line as well. And so What I find is there is more of an adoption to the need to use AI. There's a bit of apprehension, but they know that they need to upskill and learn those skills. And so that's a trend that I'm seeing. But also because of that trend, there are more companies that are cropping up. So there are consultants that are opening businesses to help those companies ramp up to understand what those tools can do for their company.
That's very interesting. And if I'm correct, we've been doing some AI series to help small businesses. Can you talk about that for a quick
Oh,
second?
yes. We have a phenomenal partnership with our Small Business Development Center. And so in January and February, we did an overview of what are the AI tools that are out there and how can you use them. But this is a sneak peek. We decided, as we were talking to some of those attendees, that we need to do deep dives of the most popular AI tools. So we're going to be doing that on a regular basis. So still, we want you to really stay tuned because that's coming.
You heard it here first, everybody. Get ready. This is going to be a really insightful series.
Absolutely.
Now, before we round out our time together, I do have one last question for you.
Hmm.
What is the most underutilized resource that the chamber offers small businesses? What should they know about, or what are they not using?
So first, I mentioned the Small Business Development Center. This is a golden nugget that we really want our small businesses to maximize. We have David Wells, who is here housed in the chamber twice a week. So he has office hours on Tuesdays and Thursdays. David is a former business owner. He's owned several businesses. So he pulls from a great wealth of knowledge when it comes to that. So if you need to upskill your business, if you need to adjust your business plan because you need to upskill, you need to get funding for your business, he can help you with that. Marketing, AI, you just mentioned that. And actually, just this week, I referred someone to David that was trying to streamline their processes, and she was paying someone a pretty penny for doing her contracts. Well, as she looked at her budget, she wanted to figure out what can I do about this. And so I said, okay, well, she did come to the AI class. And so I reminded her, David wants to set up time if you want to do that so you can take a deeper dive on whatever you're looking at. So I checked in with David, and he has given her a plethora of ideas and information so that she can have a template to go ahead and get those contracts in place. So we're excited about that. So hopefully our small businesses will go ahead and set that appointment with the Small Business Development Center. It's quite easy. They just do an intake. You choose choose to consult with one of their team members, and then they just take a deep dive with you and find out what you're really needing in your business, and then go from there.
That's awesome.
And it's free.
I was about to say.
It is free.
And it's free.
So they are funded by the SBA, and so they are always checking in with me saying, hey, don't forget to let your members know about our services. So you can't beat free, right?
Yeah, nope, you cannot beat free. And there's just, like you said, a wealth of knowledge that David holds and that organization holds that is really beneficial to the small business owners. And
Yeah.
I mean, we've heard several people who have utilized that resource
Yep.
being like, thank you so much.
Yes, they are so appreciative. One other thing that I think that small businesses or our members overlook is the leverage of our workshops, our master classes, and our lunches in the know. What do I mean by that? If you have a team, your whole team can attend those events that really are professional development. So, for instance, on the 30th, we have an event that really dives into the synergy between sales and networking. If you're in business development, that whole team needs to be there.
Right.
So at a nominal fee, they can get lunch, of course, and then really grasp valuable information to take back to their business. And so thinking about leveraging the opportunity that you already have as a member. You know about the event. You know that this could be really valuable for your team. So why not use that?
Patricia, remind us one more time, when is Small Business Week?
It is May 3rd through the 9th.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. We are so glad to have you and hear all about small business.
All right. Thank you so much, Taylor Ann.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Talk Chamber. We are so glad you're here with us. Today, Patricia shared with us all about Small Business Week, which is May 3rd through 9th. And she told us about the importance of our small business community. We mentioned that they make up over 90% of our membership here at the Greater Memphis Chamber, but they also make up a large portion of our community. And so it's important that we celebrate them and support them. If you enjoyed this episode or learned a valuable piece of information, share this episode with a friend or maybe even a colleague. Subscribe to the Talk Chamber to keep up with the latest on the Chamber, economic development, and all things Memphis. Follow us on social media at Memphis Chamber, and we'll see you next time.